Most of the content on websites is text, right? Sometimes there's some pretty pictures, or there's some icons sprinkled out, and there's some fun effects and other things going on. But we have websites because there's content there, and I guess sometimes it's video, but you get a lot of text on websites. And there's a really important thing when it comes to our text is it's not just sort of thrown in there. There's a hierarchy that's really important to how our text is organized. As an example of that, we can go back to this MDM page. It's right here, because quickly looking at it, we can see the hierarchy of the page that's on here, right? I can see, just looking at it quickly, I know this is the title. And then we have a paragraph or just some regular text that comes after it. And then I can see this is like, okay, prerequisites, this is all going to be prerequisites until I get to here. And then I know I'm going into another thing about modules. And then I know I'm getting to this next bit. And we're going through all of these different sections. And I can clearly see these different parts. And I can even see, these subparts that are coming into here. And that's just quickly glancing at it. I don't really have to read the text to understand how everything is being organized. And the thing with websites is this hierarchy isn't only a visual one, but there's a structure behind all of it that's being done with HTML as well. And well, we can use CSS to change what things actually look like, and we'll be getting there eventually. But we want to make sure before we worry about what things actually look like that we're building the correct structure to our website. And the way that we denote this hierarchy and create the structure is with our heading levels. Let's shrink this back down off to the side, and we can jump back to our first website. And actually for this lesson, I'm going to extend this out a little bit like this because we're going to be focused over here. And when it comes to heading levels, the first one is our H1, so heading 1. So I'm actually going to replace this line of text that I have right here with an H1. So we're going to go back, H1, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say close H1 because we want to make sure that the opening and closing tags match each other. And in doing that, once I'm finished this, if I save that, and then I come back on over to here and I hit refresh, we're going to see that it's gotten a lot bigger, right? We have this big giant, this is my first website ever. I'm also zoomed in, so I guess we can zoom back out to the normal zoom levels. So this is my first website, is clearly the title that's coming in now, and then we have this little paragraph that's coming after it. And it's important with our H1, this is the title of the page that you're on. It does not need to be the very first thing in your page. Often you'll have a few things that come before it, but it is the title of that individual page. And that also means that you can only have one H1 per page. It's like if you had a book, you can't have 3 different titles for your book. You have one title, same thing here. You have one H1 for every page. Now, one website might have 100 different HTML files. Every single one of them can have a different title. So every single HTML file you have has one H1 on it. And you should always have one because every document you have should have a title. So always one H1 per page and only one. And really importantly, you might read some things or come across some things along the way that say you can have multiple H1s per page. At one point, the spec was changed to change how the heading levels worked, but that part of the HTML specification was never actually implemented by any of the browsers, and so they dropped all of that. So it's one H1 per page, and that's it. Then after our H1, we have H2 through H6 to create more heading levels. There's a really important thing with this though. So let's say I came in here and I do an H2. I'm going to say HTML here. And then we can come in with a quick paragraph. HTML is the building blocks of websites, or web pages maybe, web pages. And then you might think, okay, well, I did an H2 here. And if we go take a look just really fast, we'll save, refresh, HTML. We have our HTMLs there, the building blocks right there. And you might go, okay, well, I have another title or another heading that I want. So I'm going to come through and do an H3. And then we can say CSS and say that we have CSS is what makes websites look cool, more or less. And then maybe you'd come down and don't do this, by the way. I'm showing you what not to do because this is what I see people do early on. And then JS or JavaScript right there. And then JavaScript adds interactivity to our pages. Something like that. And so I may, this is sort of feels like it's this natural way of working. But there's this default styling that's coming on things that probably lets you know right away that you're not doing things correctly, right? So the big, then we have a smaller one, an even smaller one, and an even smaller one. And our heading levels are not meant to order things. They're meant to denote the level of hierarchy something is. So I actually would want all of these to be in H2. Just like we have multiple paragraphs, and every paragraph is just a paragraph. So I'm saying I have an H1, this is the title of my page. Then I have a paragraph of text. then I have an H2, and then a paragraph talking about that topic, and then another H2. So it's sort of like, okay, we've moved on into this next section, and then we've moved on into the JavaScript section. So now, if I come and take a look, all of these are the same visual style to them. So they're sort of denoting the same level of hierarchy, and then we have the text that goes with each one of them. And as we saw, I got down, I think, to an H4 when I was doing this before. The lowest level we can get to is an H6. And I will say it's very rare I ever get down to H6. Most websites I do, I get to an H3, sometimes an H4. I very, very rarely ever get down to an H5 or definitely an H6. It's very rare that you might get that far, but sometimes you might need it, so it is convenient that we do have it. And what's really important with understanding what the heading levels are doing and this idea of hierarchy them creating is think of them a lot like creating a table of contents for your page and what they're doing. So you might have something like this where you have an H1, which is your HTML is awesome. And then an H2, what is HTML? And then you have some paragraphs and things talking about what HTML is. And then you might give basic page structure, right? So we have another H2, the structure of our page. And then underneath that H2, we have these H3s that would come in talking about the doc type, the head, the body. And then when it comes up to actually creating the content, we have another H2. I guess this could be tabbed over to match the other ones that are there. And then, so we get to this other H2 saying we're creating our content and how to do that. And then we talk about our headings, and then we talk about our paragraphs, and we talk about our list. And so you can see how this is creating a table of contents within all of this area. And then you'd probably get, potentially, or even here under our lists, we could come in and actually say we have an H4, which is our unordered lists that we're going to learn about in not too long from now. And then I might have another H4, which would be my ordered lists. And then we'd have some paragraphs and other content coming after those. So we really are creating this table of contents with our heading levels, and it's really important that we use them properly and consciously when we're using them and not just going, oh, I need this font size here. Don't worry about the size of the font that's coming in, because as we saw, there's changing the way things look. We can change that with CSS, and we're going to do that very shortly. I'm talking about this a lot because this is like one of the things people get wrong. Seasoned developers get this wrong all the time. And it's really important to understand we're creating a structure to our website with how we're using our heading levels. Really wanting to hammer this home. I really want you to remember, if anything through this entire course, this is the one lesson I want you to remember. So use your heading levels to create structure, not based on the visual styling that they give you. And speaking of H1, H2, H3, and all of that, let's come back to here really quickly. One thing that I also see people do sometimes, just because we're learning a lot and there's a lot of information coming, and you sort of get into this habit of numbering your heading levels. So then people also do things like P1, P2, P3. We can't do that. All of these elements that I'm using here are actual elements. I'm not inventing any of these. In P1, P2, P3, they don't exist. Just like I mentioned, we can go up to H6. We don't have anything that comes after that. And before we move on, because we're going to actually add the content, the real content to our project now, or in a second, is if you do want to organize this to make it a little bit more clear for yourself, you are allowed to use extra white space. So H1 paragraph, and then I could put an extra white space here. It's not going to have any impact whatsoever on my site. So I can add another one here, another one here if I wanted to, just to make it visually easier to look at. So like even if I came and decided to add a whole bunch of space and I save that, if I refresh my page, that space isn't appearing right here. So yeah, definitely use white space within your documents just to make it a bit more clear and easy for you to read.